Please welcome Kylie Shepherd from BlackRock.
Thank you, everyone, and thank you for acknowledging it is my third day. So if I forget my words, please go easy on me. Any difficult questions, I might have to take on notice, but I will come back to you. So, thank you very much to IMAP for having us. IMAP do a wonderful job of bringing thought leadership to the industry, so it's a privilege to be part of the panel today. Somebody asked me, BlackRock retirement, that's, what do you guys know about retirement? So I thought that was an interesting question, and I just wanted to address that up front. So before I jump into any slides, I really just wanted to kind of maybe explain our credibility in this space as well. So BlackRock's purpose is to help everyone experience financial well-being. I think that's important. I'm personally somebody pretty connected to that sort of why, but also if you think about financial advice for retirees, surely that's the goal, financial well-being. And we've got experience in helping to construct that for retirees. So we are the world's largest asset manager with over $10.5 trillion US in assets under management, and around half of those globally are related to retirement savings. In the US, over 500 billion is explicitly invested in BlackRock Retirement Solutions, and around 190,000 financial advisors choose us to help them build their client portfolios. We're also working with sovereign wealth funds, corporates, not-for-profits in Europe, the Middle East and Asia Pacific, helping to power retirement journeys. So we get a lot of look through, a lot of working with financial advisors and institutions on helping them to achieve financial wellbeing for their staff, for the employer plans, and their clients in their retirement journey. We've been in Australia for over 30 years, and the majority of the money we manage here is Australians' retirement savings. So if that was a question in your mind, hopefully I've put that to bed. And look, my role here today is just to really set the scene very quickly. So I'm going to try to move through this at a reasonably good pace, and so we can move on to the masterclass speakers. So Retirement Australia, if you're sitting in this room, you don't need me to tell you that there's a demographic shift underway. We're living through it. We all know it's happening. Australia's population, retiree population, will, more than triple in terms of, the number of people over 85 is going to more than triple over the next 20 years, and we're just going to keep seeing this trend carrying on. I got this. Yep, okay, I'm controlling this right. So obviously with an ageing population, that's going to impact the shape of superannuation. So we've got 1.6 Australians drawing an income from a superannuation product today. We're going to be adding another 2.5 million Australians over the next 10 years. And retirees are going to go from holding about 40%, the 1.3 trillion there of superannuation assets, to a much greater proportion, closer to 60% at around 4 trillion of superannuation assets will be in deaccumulation in the next 10 years. So pretty significant seismic sort of change. So as you can imagine, it's top of the pops for the regulators. There's plenty of press coming at us every day around regulation, quality of advice review, retirement income covenant. For those of you maybe not so familiar with that, the 2022 covenant required that trustees look to embed. There's three principles for retirement. So it was instilling a retirement covenant in the SIS Act, and the three principles of that were around maintaining flexible access to capital, stability and sustainable income, and maximising retirement income. Got that right, Ben? He's nodding. Excellent, great. I did say this was day 3, right? And this is not my bread and butter when I'm at work. So there was a recent review by the Treasury. So there was a review by APRA and ASIC last year, and they found that trustees basically had made insufficient progress and displayed insufficient urgency around making improvements for their members in order to achieve those three objectives. Treasury just released a discussion paper in December last year. It is very much something that various government departments are looking at and thinking about, how do we continue to improve what is really quite an amazing system. So we have $3.6 trillion in retirement savings here in Australia. It's the fourth largest retirement savings pool in the world, with the 54th largest population, but the fourth largest pool of retirement savings. So I do have to say it's not an endorsement of any particular party, and it is my personal view, but hats off to Paul Keating and the architects of compulsory superannuation back in the 1990s. They have set us up for success in terms of the savings pool here in Australia. So, and the government is clearly quite focused on continuing to push for improvement in that, as we now have so many Australians will be moving into deaccumulation from accumulation. And of course, one of the biggest challenges to solve for as we hit deaccumulation is longevity risk. So you move into retirement, you've got all the same problems that you had investing for your clients. You've got investment risk, market risk, inflation risk takes on more significance, but then you introduce sequencing risk and longevity risk. Bill Sharp, he won a Nobel Prize for economics on investor behaviour. He described longevity risk as the nastiest, hardest problem in finance. Right? It's a tricky one. And so, at face value, annuities are a potential solution for that problem. Take up in Australia remains low. So there's a range of reasons, right? So at present, about 4% of the retirement market is in annuities, about 84% is in account-based pensions. The Treasury review in December noted that over the last 5 years, the number of pensioners in absolute terms and as a proportion of total accounts invested in annuities had declined. So it's a small part of the market. Assets in pension accounts have been reducing that are invested in this space according to the Treasury report, but Ben might have some comments on that based on what they're seeing at North. So it's a tricky one to solve for. So annuities, will provide longevity protection. They can, depending on the market design, they can also be exempt from market risk, but there's an irrevocability of commitment when you hand over that capital often. There are more unique designs and concerns for value of money with clients and a lack of flexibility. I note on that last point, though, there has been a fair bit of innovation in the market lately. And I know that different providers have incorporated various options in their products in order to try and address some of the feedback that they've had from advisors and clients around flexibility. And we have seen more recently truly innovative products like the MyNorth Lifetime product that I know Ben's going to talk about later, which is unique. So from a BlackRock perspective, I think there's three key aspects to retirement planning. So the first is you've got to manage the investments, retirement income. You've got to manage your clients and investor behaviour. It's no good putting in place the best possible plan with the Schmickers product if your client then goes out and blows a lot in the first 2 years. And the last one is how do you do it at scale? How can you manage the needs of your individual clients will all be on unique journeys within a framework that manages risk and is compliant from a governance point of view for your business, and that you can manage sensibly at scale. So we, as I mentioned at the very beginning, we work with financial advisors, we work with institutional clients, we work with retirees around the world. In the US, a recent product development that we've had is this LifePath Paycheck. The closest thing to it in Australia would be the MyNorth Lifetime, but it's different to anything available here. Effectively, it is a product that is available as part of 401k plans, so employer pension plans, and it allows investors to maintain exposure to growth assets as they approach retirement, then pre-retirement start to allocate more to defensive assets, and then for their income stream, it relies on a bond ladder with an optional allocation of around 30% to an annuity. So it's trying to help solve, the puzzle of providing an income in retirement with some security. We also, in the Australian market, we have a calculator available that can help clients or advisors to work with clients to look at, to calculate savings and spendings for retirement. So, for instance, an investor in their 40s, estimate how big your bucket will be. So, just something that will give some visuals around that saving for the nest egg, and then once the client's in retirement, estimating drawdown. That's currently available with one platform, but I think there's plans to further invest in the technology available to Australian advisors later this year. In terms of the other way that we can help, it comes back to the client management and the experience of your clients. So this is something that we have drawn on our work with clients globally. So I mentioned before that we work with hundreds of thousands of advisors in the US and also in Europe. We have a team in the US called US Wealth Advisory, and they work with some of the largest financial advice firms in the US, and they help them with business challenges and client engagement. And we partnered with a business called Designing for Better, which is a wellbeing firm, and looked at retirement, because it's not just the investment management piece, it is also the behaviour management piece. And this was around really understanding the retirement journey for clients and how, as a financial advisor, you can reshape the conversation to really help them clarify what a great retirement would look like for them. So, and get really clear on goals. And so I wanted to mention that in terms of something that I think sometimes is missing from the conversations when we talk about investments. It's actually about, for the client, their experience of retirement is going to be underpinned by the money they've got to spend, but actually their day-to-day, their week-to-week, the month-to-month, what are their goals? What are the things that they, that they want to achieve in retirement, and can you help them to really draw that out and keep them on track? And I think those conversations, if you're helping somebody to identify the things that are going to keep them engaged and keep them active and keep them mentally and emotionally well, they're the things that will keep them coming back to your business. They're the things they're going to talk about over dinner with their friends that will drive referrals to your firm as well. So if you are interested, we've got some worksheets around how advisors can have those conversations. We can provide some support in that space in Australia. So if that's something of interest, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. But hopefully that has helped provide a bit of an overview of where we are today. And yep, I'll hand over to the next speaker, which I